We need something to smile about, don't we? Because if you're trying to get a train,
yes,
you're not going to be very happy, because train services are being hit by more strike action this weekend. Well, starting today, actually, where members of the ASLEF union are taking action. The RMT tomorrow walking out in long-running disputes, with some lines providing no services at all.
Well, the Transport Secretary, Mark Harper, accused both unions of targeting the Eurovision Song Contest final in Liverpool, as thousands of fans are due to visit the city.
Well, let's talk to former RMT Assistant General Secretary Steve Hedley. Good to see you this morning, Steve. Commuters are going to be absolutely fed up to the back teeth, aren't they?
Yeah, well, I think they are, to be fair. I mean, I think that this is a long-running dispute, and the government are not only not providing a solution, they're actively preventing the solution being found by the participants, which are the trade unions and the companies. These are private sector companies. And the government are putting restrictions and shackling them and not allowing them to find an end to this dispute.
Are you deliberately... I hope...
his line's gone.
His line gone. Steve, are you still with us?
No, sorry, we've lost him.
We will try and get back to Steve.
I tell you what is interesting, that the boss of ASLEF... Mick Whelan has said we're in a worse position now than we were 6 months ago, as far as the unions are concerned. But offers have, I mean, certainly with the RMT, offers have been made that have been rejected. Was it 8% over 2 years, if memory serves me right? And that was all been rejected. I mean, I don't know. I'd love to know if you either work in the system, if you're one of those affected, then let us know what you think. I think we've got Steve back.
Hi, Steve. Have we got you?
Hi.
Yes,
okay.
We've got him. Right. Steve, are you deliberately disrupting the Eurovision Song Contest tomorrow? Because people will be looking at these dates. There's also scheduled walkout from ASLEF on the 3rd of June, the FA Cup final. So, you know, people are watching this thinking you're deliberately targeting the people.
I'm not deliberately doing anything. I mean, I'm an ex-official from the RMT. I'm here as a pundit.
OK, well, are the unions deliberately disrupting?
I can't explain why those dates were chosen, and that was that they were chosen for leverage. And trade unions put on dates in order to bring the employers, and in this case the government, to the negotiating table. That's why those dates were chosen. And unfortunately, it's not worked. The government have been as intransigent as ever. Won't let the employers negotiate properly, and won't let a solution to this dispute be found.
Well, in terms of resolving this, what do you think is the big issue? Because do you think it's down to the money, or do you think it's down to the terms and things like more staff on trains, more ticket offices, all those sort of things?
Well, I don't think that it's about more staff or more ticket offices. It's about maintaining the staff that they're actually there at the minute. The railway is run on overtime. People do at least one shift overtime a week, usually 2 shifts overtime. So it's understaffed at the minute, and they want to cut more staff, and what that'll do is destroy the work-life balance of people already there. And of course there is wages. We have an extraordinary position where taxpayers are funding private companies to the tunes of billions of pounds a year. These companies are then paying their shareholders hundreds of millions in dividends, and workers haven't had a pay rise in 3 years, and it's absolutely appalling. We've got £42 billion of unclaimed tax, unpaid tax in this country, which could easily be taken up, which would not only pay the rail workers, but every worker in the public sector out there, would settle all those disputes.
What's your sense of where the public are at on this, Steve? Where is public support at the moment? Because you can understand this has been going on a year now, well, almost, since June of last year, this dispute, and it doesn't look as though there's going to be any end to it anytime soon.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'd imagine the public are fatigued with it. I think that they're fed up with the whole situation, but I think that being the public and being kind of not really aware of all the issues, I think that they'll blame both sides. I think that they'll blame government, and I think that they'll blame the trade unions because they're fatigued by the whole situation. But I think what has been remarkable is the amount of public support that's been maintained, and that's quite simply because a lot of people are in the same boat. A lot of people understand When inflation's running at 10% this year and 10% last year, an offer of 4% last year and 4% this year leaves a deficit of around 12%. That'd be a real terms pay cut of 12%. And on top of that, you've got job cuts and the destruction of terms and conditions. So people do understand, and I think a lot of people are still sympathetic.
Final thoughts, Steve, on this. I mean, this tactic of a bunch of strikes, then a significant period not. This was clearly designed to try and bring the companies to their knees in terms of the resolution of this. It hasn't worked. Do you think we're going to see now a different strategy over the next 6 months?
Yeah, well, I hope so. I think the RMT leadership didn't play their cards very well. I think that the reality is they needed a concerted piece of industrial action to bring this day ahead, and I hope that they actually use those tactics. I think the membership really deserve better. They need to have this settled, and the only way to settle it is this concerted piece of industrial action. OK. Steve Hedley, formerly of the RMT, good to see you. Thanks very much indeed. Good to see you.